Hey friend, welcome to Chrysalis Chats. My name is Tanya and I help people transform their diet and lifestyle to be plant-based. This week's theme is all things animals, okay? But today specifically we are going to talk about animal family and connection. And my intention throughout this video is to offer you some information from this handy dandy publication by National Geographic that maybe will bring your understanding of animal connection and familial community cohesion to the next level. And really that's why we're here, right? Because we're all transitioning to a plant-based diet, or you're a vegan already and you just want to up your knowledge on animals. And maybe you're actually in that transition period between being non-vegan and vegan, and you want to better understand the animals, the lives that you're impacting by going vegan, and you want to understand how it is that you're affecting their life. And for that, I think you are really, really cool watching this right now. So thank you for watching this right now. If you see me moving a lot, it's because there's like flies attacking my legs because I'm at the beach, and that's a thing around here, I guess. But point being, let's get into family and connection, shall we? So Jane Goodall, if you haven't heard of her, she's a legend, all right? But Jane Goodall, in the early 1960s, when Jane Goodall submitted her first paper to the journal Nature, the editor instructed her to describe the chimps of Gombe Stream National Park with impersonal pronouns, it, not he or she. That was scientific custom. Even humanity's closest relatives merited language used for inanimate objects. Goodall refused. What she observed, complex social roles, relationships intertwined with individual identities, required a language that recognized chimps for who they are. They deserved names too. Flo, the matriarch, was a loving mother. Her older son, Figan, probably saying that wrong, was clever but lacked confidence. Flint, Flo's youngest son, was inseparable from her. After she died, he stopped eating and, grief-stricken, died within weeks. Okay? Such stories, which Goodall backed with years of meticulously gathered data, transformed humanity's understanding of chimpanzees. How fascinating. So, number one, what do we see here? Like, what stands out to you? What stands out to me in that case study was that everybody in her community, like her editor, right, they were telling her, nah, Jane, you got to tell that animal, when you're referring to them, that they're an it. You have to refer to that animal as an it. And I just think that's fascinating because even, right around where I live, I hear people say, oh, my dog, or like the dog, they'll talk about the dog and they'll be like, it. Not necessarily the owner of the dog, usually they're like she or he, but other people around will be like, look, it's doing this or that, look, it's da da da, or the bird that flew across the sky in my earlier video, they'll be like, oh, look at it, be like, nah, look at them, that's kind of just a perspective change. And if you're already like tuned into that vegan diet and lifestyle, just everything plant-based, you're probably already somebody who's recognizing that animals have complex identities, not just identities, but complex identities, and that, they're not just they're not inanimate objects, they are complex creatures who have personalities and gender expressions and things like that. So that's the first thing that stood out to me. The other thing that stood out to me in here was how when somebody in their family had died, the other monkey just didn't eat and they died themselves from being grief-stricken. So, I think that says a lot about, if you've ever lost anybody close in your life, that's kind of what it's like. You don't want to eat. You're just sad. You're depressed. You're just kind of in a different space. You're in like a different state of existence, and it's not like a happy place usually, because you just lost somebody in your family. So we see that with animals in that example that we just read. So let's go on to a little bit of a lighter topic. Coyotes, okay? So coyote pack is what it says. I call them coyotes and coyotes, so I don't know what you say. Let me know what you say in the comments. I'm interested. How do you say coyote? Do you say coyote or coyote? But anyway, as coyotes have settled in urban areas, they've given us a chance to appreciate one of the few species whose family structure closely resembles our own. Interesting. Absent misfortune or food shortages, coyotes live in packs featuring an alpha pair, mom and dad, who mate for life and are the only breeders, the young from previous years, who help support the family and maintain its territory. Interesting. They communicate, often across long distances, with an information-rich system of vocalizations containing at least 11 calls. Huh! And here you just thought it was, ow, ow, ow! Yes, I just filmed that. Yes, there's probably a bunch of people right over that way looking at me right now, and I'm totally fine with it. let's move along. When families are broken apart by hunting or control programs, chaos ensues. Previously non-breeding females have pups of their own. Young coyotes from broken homes fight over territory. Killing coyotes to prevent conflicts with people can end up making conflict more likely. Ooh! What stands out to you? That's one of my noises. Ooh! It's one of my more than 11 calls. Okay. But what stands out to you about that? So literally there's some people out there, based on the inference, what they're inferring in this document, they're saying, oh, sometimes people, they kill coyotes so that more coyotes don't come and kill us. They just want to kill the coyotes so that they stay away. And really, oftentimes, I haven't personally, I grew up in a very rural environment, like very rural. There were coyotes all over. And yeah, we knew you couldn't let the dog out. I had a dog named Rosie. She was a Shih Tzu. She was awesome. She was all black and she had a little white patch on her chest. And we were like, yeah, you don't let Rosie out at night unless you're like right there in the front yard with her. We knew that because the coyotes, like we were growing up across the street from like woods and farmland and woodlands behind us. It was a very rural area and the coyotes were out. You could hear them, all the time. You could hear them. But point being, we knew how to work with it. It's not like they were coming and attacking us. And you know why? Probably because they had their female and male alpha and they were cool and they were in their pack and they were doing their coyote thing. And they found their food where they needed to find their food and they weren't attacking humans. So anyway, I say all that to say that like coyotes are wild beings. They're not trying to deal with us unless they're in distressed circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And I think you, as somebody who's watching this 6 minutes and 47 seconds in, you probably know that already, right? But I just want to be sure that like if you don't know that, because maybe you come from an urban background, or maybe you don't know what the hell a coyote is because in your country you don't have coyotes, I just want to make sure that you know that like wild animals, they don't want to deal with you usually unless they're very ill or stressed out or in some type of a circumstance that's not their normal state of being, okay? And usually I would say like 10 times out of 10, to be honest, that's like a human issue, like it's actually a cause of a human, like an effect of a human, like the human caused it, in other words. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting that, the ultimate lesson of all this, it says, is when you see animals, keep in mind they're not just thinking, feeling individuals, but members of their own community. Isn't that interesting? I would agree completely with that. So, what we can do as everyday vegan people or people who are plant-based, what we can do is work to share this information with other people in ways that are non-threatening, in ways where you're actually adding value to that person's outlook on the world and their ability to make decisions in life, because maybe you're that plant-based person and you're surrounded by a bunch of other people who are totally not on your wavelength. They're not on your vibe, they're not on your consciousness, they're not on your decisions, they're not on your food plate, because you're just eating different things than them, and that's okay. And I just want to give you like a shout out because I've been that person for a massive part of my life, and so I know what it's like to be the oddball out. But what you're doing every time that you have a conversation that kind of comes up naturally around that, and you're just kind of dropping these little seeds of knowledge, you're just dropping seeds that could grow into something beautiful. You might be growing future vegans, even if it doesn't seem like it now. You might be growing the lives, you might be preventing the end of animals' lives. That's powerful. That's powerful. And I'm not saying like don't go out there and be like, you need to go vegan, none of that. I mean, or if you want to, cool, man. I just have found that people don't usually respond as well to like that type of an approach versus like oh yeah, did you know I actually learned this crazy thing the other day and it was like this, and can you believe, and what do you think? That's more of the approach. It's kind of like you'll get more bees with sugar than vinegar, you'll catch more flies with honey than vinegar. I'm totally butchering that, I'm sorry, but it's that thing, sweet, be sweet, people will enjoy it more. That's the takeaway. So anyway, we're gonna focus in on this one. And it says learning human, and this is another parrot one. We had a parrot thing in a previous video, but let me know what you think about this too. So it says African gray parrots, some of the smartest parrots out there, whose anatomy allows them to make sounds resembling our own, have been trained to use human languages. Some great apes, including gorillas, chimps, and bonobos, have been trained to use American Sign Language or to communicate by tapping messages on a keyboard. History recalls the sad story of a sign-trained chimp sold into medical experimentation. When he encountered a researcher who could understand him, he said, "Key, period, out." Such feats are at the... Whew, my heart just felt sad reading that. It said, such feats are all the more impressive when considering that these are second languages for the animals who already have their own rich vocabulary of sound and gesture. Wow. So animals already have, their own established ways of communicating and learning from each other. And basically in this example we see that there was a monkey in captivity who learned how to type. Not only did they learn our language, so they learned English specifically, they learned a human language, but they learned how to type it on a keyboard. Okay, so that's two things they did, so that they can talk, or they can understand our language, and they can type. Okay, fascinating. And it's a monkey. And then when they research somebody who can understand them and knows that they can do this, they type to that person, "Key, period, out," like, "Let me out of here." Whew! Doesn't that make you feel like in your heart, like, damn, like that's a real thing? Like, because what this is showing us, in this case study, is that animals are intelligent. Animals have this incredible intelligence, and they also have an ability to recognize when somebody maybe is there to help them. They also have the ability to recognize that they can ask for help. There's so many things that we can take away from this one example. Obviously, the monkey didn't want to be there, right? So they said, "Key, out," as in use this key to get me out. That's pretty powerful. Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of a heavy note, but let's go ahead and read about by playing prairie dogs. Let's do this prairie dog thing. It's a little more lighter vibration, okay? By playing prairie dogs' voices back to them, scientists have started to decipher the meaning of their calls. Their chirps literally fill the air with information. They have words for different colors and animals, and much more remains to be translated. Wow, so prairie dogs have different words for different colors and animals. Isn't that incredible? So they have this very rich language. So, they can say one noise and they know it means like there's blueberries maybe, or like there's blue something over here. And then they have another noise that says like, "Hey dude, there's a coyote over here." So I just thought that was interesting. Look how cute the little prairie dogs are. Aren't they adorable? And they're like nuzzling. This one's like, get your ear. It's adorable. So yeah, this has been, the video talking about just kind of animals' communication and their familial networks and how they fit in with different groups. I mean, really, we've seen some examples in here of how familial connections are present and strong in the animal kingdom. We've seen some examples in here how animals have communicated with human beings and others just to show various concepts, right? So I hope this really just helped you grow your own knowledge of animals up a little bit, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to my channel, check out my website, chrysalisandcocoon.com. And with that said, I just want to thank you for being part of the solution. Whether you're just a tiny little caterpillar and you're like, "Where's the lettuce? I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going plant-based, help me out here." Or you're a full-fledged butterfly and you're just like whipping up the recipes in the kitchen. That's what's up, and I am proud of you. Okay, so let us know what you need in the comments down below in terms of developing your understanding of animals and their very sophisticated, complex lives, and I would love to answer those questions for you. Okay, thank you for being part of the solution. Namaste. Have a great day.